يا وهاب يا تواب يا كريم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. We are going to have elaboration on the dua named after Abu Hamza al-Thumali. Abu Hamza al-Thumali was one of the students of the fourth Imam, Ali ibn al-Hussein, Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. He was a trustworthy and reliable student, memorized this rather long supplication from Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. Before we go further, it's worth mentioning that the roles of our Imams varied according to the environment, to the circumstances, and to the different issues related to how the Imam fulfills his duty as a divine guide within the community or towards the whole Muslim nation. Because of the censorship, because of the very severe political atmosphere after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam had no other choice other than to teach his companions, to teach the scholars, and to promote Islam and Islamic teachings through the method which we know it now as supplication. So in Sahifat al-Sajjadiyya, for example, we are witnessing the deepest way of theology presented by Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam in a kind and form of dua and supplication. The best ethical issues are analyzed and dealt with by this Imam in Sahifat al-Sajjadiyya. It has been translated into English by Professor Chittick as Psalms of Islam. And we may have some opportunity in the future, inshallah, to talk about certain du'as, especially the du'a of Makarim al-Akhlaq, which is supplication number 20 of Sahifat al-Sajjadiyya. Then we understand how deep, how great, how precise the Imam dealt with these ethical issues. The purpose and the aim is one and only one: how to discipline people, to advise them to be good servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to be pious enough to follow the teachings of the Quran and the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Abu Hamza al-Thumali, you may wonder, this long dua, which inshallah we are going to discuss and have some discussion about it in the next 10 or 12 sessions, how could he memorize all that? Indeed, he says that when the night or any night of the holy month of Ramadan would fall, Imam Zaynul Abidin would spend the whole night in prayer and supplication, and when he was close to the dawn, which is the Sahar, he would recite this dua. let's ponder upon certain themes of this dua. The first one, من أين لي الخير يا رب ولا يوجد إلا من عندك. How can I get any access to goodness without your help? And here is the foundation of one very important theological issue and task. Whatever we do, whatever we achieve, is it us or that is the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who enabled us to do something good? Let's read from the Quran. After the victory of Muslims in the battlefield, the battle of Badr, which gained Muslims a very clear victory over the disbelievers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed the Prophet by saying, وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. O Muhammad, O our chosen servant, O our chosen messenger, it wasn't you who was really fighting. It wasn't you who gained victory. Victory came from Allah, support came from Allah, protection came from Allah, and indeed the one who was physically involved in the fighting was Allah. It could be or maybe difficult to digest how Allah physically gets involved in activities which belong to people. The real tawheed is that whatever we do and whatever we call them as natural causes, they are not independent in what we call it the causality or the cause and effect, which every effect in this world, whether it is to be read within chemistry or physics or biology or chemistry or biochemistry or immunology, they do and work for themselves independently. No. Our understanding, as Quran teaches us, and the real tawheed is promoting, is look, all these are tools, are channels through which Allah's will is active and causing every cause to have an impact on the effect. And that is very, very important. So Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam starts with من أين لي الخير يا رب ولا يوجد إلا من عندك. If I have some knowledge, if I have some sort of generosity, I have the ability to teach others or promote knowledge or anything good, although I do it, but it is not me. It all belongs to the source. Whatever the philosophers call that the first cause. Although we are not in need in using these terms, but when we refer to the source of every goodness, we understand that no one can do anything, no one can achieve anything without Allah's blessing and tawfiq. We recite in our taqibat after salat, after prayer, Allahumma ma bina min ni'matin famink, which means that whatever grace, whatever bounty, whatever merit one might have, it doesn't belong to him or her. It is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is surprising to hear in some hadith that when you pay something as alms or charity, kiss your hand, because it isn't your hand at that time. It is the hand of Allah Almighty, the most generous, which you were only a tool and a channel and a media through which Allah's generosity has reached those who deserve it. من أين لي الخير يا رب ولا يوجد إلا من عندك ومن أين لي النجاة ولا تستطاع إلا بك. Salvation or relief, getting out of the calamity and difficulty, is only obtainable from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's remember the history of the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. When he interpreted the dream of those two men and they were freed, one was executed and the other one was going to be a close member of the emperor's circle. Yusuf alayhi salam told the one who's supposed to survive that udhkurni inda rabbik, please don't forget me when you talk to your master, the king or the emperor of Egypt, and to teach us how we rely only and only on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not expect any remedy or any assistance from anyone else. فَأَنْسَاهُ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him forget. And he forgot for a long time. So if you hope someone, if you expect any goodness, you need any relief, you expect it from Allah only. للذي أحسن استغنى عن عونك ورحمتك وللذي أساء واجترى عليك ولم يرضك خرج عن قدرتك. It is all within Allah's supervision, within Allah's sovereignty. It is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge of everything. So the one who does good, who does charity, who gives, he is not needless from your help, from your mercy. He is still in need. And the one who disobeyed, who committed evil, he is not beyond your control or beyond your reach. And here Imam alayhi salam, after this introduction, repeats, O Lord, O Lord, O Lord, and continues to repeat that, as the hadith says, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, until he falls breathless. Here we start with another phrase or another subject which is related to theology. بك عرفتك وأنت دللتني عليك. There are many arguments in theology regarding the understanding of Allah's existence. Some people thought about the cosmological argument, some others about teleological arguments. Third group started to talk about other ways and other methods in proving and understanding the existence of God. But there is another school of thought which says that, look, we are not allowed to use other things to lead us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes himself apparent and clear to us that we don't need in recognizing him to anyone else. بك عرفتك. By you I recognize you. وأنت دللتني عليك. You guided me towards yourself. ودعوتني إليك, and invited me to you. ولولا أنت لم أدري ما أنت. Philosophers have different ideas, But they talk about their imaginations, about their own understandings, about the reflection they have got. But to be precise, we have to concentrate on the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly communicates with us. وَأَنْتَ دَلَلْتَنِي عَلَيْكَ وَدَعَوْتَنِي إِلَيْكَ وَلَوْلَا أَنْتَ لَمْ أَدْرِ مَا أَنْتَ. That is your grace. That is the light which comes from you and fills my heart with understanding and certitude. And by this, I submit to you, O Allah. Alhamdulillah alladhi ad'uhu fayujibuni wa in kuntu bati'an hina yad'uni. Look, when we have two friends or two relatives, two partners, normally they have some sort of mutual treatment. In a sense, if you are kind to me, I'm kind to you. If you are tough, I will be tough. If you smile in my face, I smile in your face too. If you have favor on me, I return that favor. This is the way that people normally, in their normal life, treat one another. But is it exactly the same in our relation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam said, no. When you call upon me, I am slow. I'm not prompt. I'm not that active. I have no energy. But when I call upon you, you are prompt. So when I call you, you respond to me very, very quickly. But when you call me, I'm lazy. Alhamdulillah alladhi ad'uhu fayujibuni wa in kuntu bati'an hina yad'uni. Walhamdulillah alladhi as'aluhu fayu'tini wa in kuntu bakhilan hina yastaqriduni. In many ayat from the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts this phrase, this idea of borrowing and lending. When we do something good, we spend something as a charity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يُقْرِضُ اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا فَيُضَاعِفَهُ لَهُ. Is there anybody who is ready to give a loan, a goodly loan to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is needless. He doesn't need to take anything from us. But He wants to tell us, look, when you help the poor and needy, when you assist others and spend generously the charitable act you have, indeed, don't look at the person who receives that and sometimes say, okay, whether he deserves that or not. No, don't look at that. You think that when you do that, you are lending Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, Imam alayhi salam teaches us, praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I ask Him and He gives me, although I am mean when He asks a loan from me, which means that when He invites me to do a charitable work. Walhamdulillahi alladhi unadihi kullama shi'tu lihajati wa akhlu bihi haythu shi'tu lisirri. Praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will refer to Him, I beg Him, I only call upon Him when I'm desperate. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give me the hope, will give me the success, will give me everything from His treasures. So I have to be grateful to Him. And being grateful to Him means to recognize Him and obey His commands. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to come close to the aspects and concepts of the Quran and act upon them. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
لبيك 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 يا